Hello, my name is David, and I'm with WellCaddie. I'm going to be walking you through today on some very early setup of your WellCaddie monitor on the website. So once you go through and you set up an account, you'll be introduced with a screen similar to this. This is after you have confirmed your email address, just kind of the same process that you would do through an Amazon account or any other type of account where you create one and a confirmation email will be sent to your inbox. Just confirm who you are, and then you will be presented with a screen similar to this. So you'll see I got my name over here. I can customize my picture and do all kinds of things. Right next to my name is this notification bar here. Notification bell rather, and it's got a 1 next to it. That means I've got one new notification, just kind of giving me a welcome to the website. But as you can see, when you create your account, you'll need to create a team as you do that. So here's my current team. I just named this team test. That's all I'm doing today, is doing some tests on some things. So my current team is team test. And the very first thing that I will need to get to is create a location for my team. So I can do that right over here. I can do that right over here. So as I've created my account, as I set up my account, I will need to set up my first team. So that's already been done. Then the first thing I need to do to activate a monitor will be to create a location. So I'm just going to come over here to the right next to this plus, create location. So since I'm doing all of this in just a test format, I'm just going to highlight the field here and call this location test. Once that's filled out, just come down here to add location. Get a little indicator that I've done that successfully. Now I'm still within the same team, but now I'm under a certain location. So within this location, what do you want to do? Am I going to activate a monitor, or am I going to activate a Modbus, depending on the type of product that I'm using? I'm just testing a dual pressure monitor right now. So I'm just going to go with this option. I'm going to add a dual pressure monitor for just the test purposes that I'm doing today. But the same process is the process you would do as if you were doing this in a real world scenario. So I'll come over here to the monitor, since that's what I want to add. And then it's just asking the type of monitor. I'm doing a compressor, a plunger lift, or just a well head. For this test purpose, I'm just going to do a well. So I'll select that. Then I'll bring up this menu here, add well. So I can name it whatever I need to name it. Name it the well name. I'm probably just going to go with some type of test name. But this is the part where it gets very important. So this is the part, because I am testing a live monitor, I don't necessarily want to show these two values or codes. So name it whatever you want to name it. And then these two bits of information will be provided for you, obviously with whatever monitor that you have. So the FC number, then the authorization code. Those will be a part of the monitor that you have. And those will be needed to activate the product on the website. So because I'm just doing testing here, I don't want to fill that in with all this being recorded like this. Okay, we are set up here with the well that has been named now. We have an active monitor that is activated. And if you'll notice over here under the navigation, we have quite a few more options, which is good. Still under the same location. Now, inside a location, we're actually at a specific well. So just like earlier, when we were using this tile up here for the location to add certain things, well, now that we're at a certain well, now we're going to use this tool to add a sensor. Because if you'll notice here, there's no information because it doesn't know what it's looking forward to read for us. So we've got to get it a little bit more information. And once we do that, we can start to pull some values. So we'll go up here to add sensor. And we will have different types. So the ones we're going to be setting up today are just pressure sensors here. And we can name it, what type the units are, minimum pressure value, maximum pressure value, and then what port it's going in. So we'll just do something very, very traditional here. We'll just start with port number 1, and all we're going to name it here is, we'll just call this a tubing to start out with. We're going to be monitoring pressure, and just pretty much everything else is set up how I want, because I know my range of what I'm going to be working with the pressures. Now, this is where you would put in maximum pressure value would be based on the type or the magnitude of pressure that you want to be considering for what you're monitoring here. So if you're using a certain value transducer or pressure sensor, you want to add that in here. So if you're using 1,000 PSI, 0 to 1,000 PSI transducer, this is kind of already filled out for you. But if you're using, let's say, 0 to 5,000, well, then you'd want to put max pressure at 5,000. If you're using 0 to 10, then you'd leave it at 0 and you would make this 10, whatever that may be. But for what I'm doing over here, 1,000 will be good. Should be around 300 pounds for what I'm going for here. So once that's filled out, add pressure sensor. Got the notification that that is all there. Very good. Now, since this is a dual pressure monitor, I've got one more that I want to fill out. So it's not surprising that for right now, for the latest entries, we don't have anything, because I'm sure I'm catching this device between its 15-minute monitoring window. And we're doing a lot of changes. So I'll show you what we need to do here very shortly, or at least tell you what we need to do very shortly to get everything to look like what you may expect it to look like. So since we have another sensor that we want to add, we're going to come back up here to add sensor. We're just going to be doing another pressure type sensor. And since that one was tubing, now we're going to do a casing. This one's going to be a little more, so I'll just go ahead and put this as 2. I'm going to go with a 0 to 2,000 pound. And then, as you'll notice, as you add sensors, it's going to try to fill this out as best that it thinks that you may want. So it's already got the port number 2 established there. I can change that to whichever one I want. I can't select one because I've already claimed one, but you can come down here and pick whichever one you want. But I'm just going with number 2 because that's where where the pressure is. Add pressure sensor. Got the notification that that one's finished. Very good. Now, we have our 2 tiles down here for the pressures that we have set up. What we're going to do now is reset the monitor. Now, I happen to have the monitor relatively close, so that's within my, abilities to be able to do. So we've done a lot of changes here, and a good follow-up to any type of big changes like this or activation of a monitor and all that is, since I've done some things that have changed what is expected of it, it's a good idea to go ahead and just reset the device. And then here, once it comes back online, it should be giving us our first points of information, our first points of data. All right, after the device has reset, we can see our 2 points right here. That's about what I expected for the pressures that we're looking at here. And as this continues and the time goes on and it starts having more and more reports, then we'll be able to see charted data. But of course, this thing just came on here. So we just got a point per pressure. And that's why there's only 2 spots there. But as it continues, we'll have charted data and we'll be able to update chart range and all that other fun stuff.